What's up, YouTube? Sandy C here with some uncommon sense. I told you I was going to do some canning. I finally got everything I need in. Here it comes. The quickest, easiest canning video on all of the YouTube internet. Alright, so let's get started. First, last video I told you what you needed. So you should have that ready, okay? So we're going to can some chicken. Do it. First off, anytime you're cooking with any foods, meats especially, you want to be very clean. So everything's been cleaned, wiped, polished. Okay? We get our can jars set up. You don't have to add seasoning, but if you want to, go ahead. These are quart jars, so 2 pints, quarts. I got a couple tablespoons of, teaspoons of some poultry seasoning, nothing special. I'm not a chef. I'll eat it. I'll eat milk bones. I don't really care. But just some seasoning in there. We checked all our lids. They're all nice and smooth. Over here, oh yeah, we are chopping up these chickens. We're doing a raw pack, meaning they're completely uncooked, but they are 100% thawed. We're cutting them into about 2-inch chunks. Stuff them in there. You want to pack them in nice and tight. You don't want air bubbles. You want to pack it in real good and tight. With chicken, you want 1 inch of headspace. Easy way, keep it under this lip right here. Okay, we're gonna pack those in nice and tight. There's our headspace measure, 1 inch, we're under that. Something else we can do, chicken has a lot of moisture in it already, but we're gonna add a little bit of warm water just over the top just to bring it up to that 1 inch line nice and even. Okay, also, boom, in here we are boiling our lids and rings, basically sanitizing them. That's a common theme in cooking. Cleanliness, 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 okay? Also, get your olive oil on the side and some distilled white vinegar. All right, we'll show you the next steps coming back at you, how to set this up, and let's get cooking. Okay, so we boiled our lids for 5 minutes and just turn the heat all the way off. Our magnet's going to come in handy for retrieving those out of the boiling water when it's time to seal. As for our pot, we've got 2 inches of just tap water in it and 2 tablespoons of white distilled vinegar. And all the distilled vinegar does is keep the water clean, prevent hard water and water spots from appearing all over the pot and all over the jars as well. All right, Sandy C is back. Ready? Here's what we got. We've got our chicken filled up. We've got 8 quarts. This ended up being 2 pounds of chicken per quart. That's about a pound, or it is 1 pound per pint. So we did a total of 16 pounds of chicken here. What we're doing right now is just adding some cold water to the top to get to that 1 inch headspace. We don't want to go above that. Leave that 1 inch headspace. Also, we are just shy on the chicken on this one, so we wanted to bring up the water to cover that. It's not necessary, but it helps fill in any little air gaps and just top it off. Next step, we're wiping that white distilled vinegar along the threading and on the top of the jar. This is purely for sanitation and cleanliness, to ensure sanitation and seal that jar the best we can. All right, so use that magnet. Take the lid out of the water, placing it on top of the jar. Easy peasy. Fish yourself out a ring. Look at it, it's like carnival games. Now we know these have cooled down enough to touch, and we can screw those on. Once we do that, you can go ahead and set that in the pot. We've got our 2 inches of water and our rack at the bottom. Because these are quarts, we can only do 1 layer. If we had pints and a second rack, we could place that rack on top and then put another row of pints. But we're doing quarts. We can fit 8 in this 22 quart pressure cooker. We're going to continue to wipe down with white vinegar, one at a time, ensuring the best cleanliness possible and doing one ring sealing at a time. Ensuring everything's nice and clean so we do it right. Bang! Put it in there. Oh yeah, splish splash. We're gonna take a bath. We're using that white vinegar to give it a nice wipe down on the threads and on the very top of the jar. Just make sure it's completely clean. We don't want any chicken goo on it. No chicken goo messing with our seal. Then we're going fishing. Oh, look at that. First try. Daggum, that was a good one. We put our lid on. Fish out a ring. Got another one. Holy mackerel. Spin it on there. Perfect. Now we know these aren't boiling hot anymore. We let them cool a little bit, so we knew we weren't going to melt our hands. Popping in. All right. Got more friends going in the pot. We'll get through the rest of these, show you how to lock her down, and bring her up to temp. All right. Now that we've got our cans in here, we're going to rub this rim with a little bit of olive oil since it's a metal-to-metal seat. Just rub that on there to create a lubricated seal. Also, regarding the jars, filling in a canner. Anytime you use a pressure cooker, pressure canner, even a canning bath, anything like that, you always want to make sure to fill every single space. Not every jar, every space, because these are going to be rattling around like a big old earthquake going off. It's going to be nuts. So, even if you don't, say we didn't have enough chicken to fill all 8 jars here, we'd still want to put all 8 jars in here, but the ones we didn't have chicken, we just fill them with water to that 1-inch headspace, boom, to take that place. Because these are going to be shifting around. You don't want them shifting around much, banging around and breaking, okay? Now we've given a little lubrication around that. We're ready to pop our lid on. Follow your directions on your particular one. This one's pretty easy. Slide on where it says so. Whoosh, lock it into place. You can even hear that air release. All right. So what we're going to do is start to warm her up. We're going to just take it real slow. Real slow. Okay. We're going to start to, oh man, it's past my bedtime. Daggum dang. We're going to wait for this to start venting. We want to get all that air vented out of there. So we've got a nice sealed pressure cooker. Okay? And then we'll come back with the next steps when we get up to temp. Okay. So we've slowly warmed it up now for 20 minutes at medium heat. Now what we've gone and done is set it to a medium-high heat and set a 15-minute timer. Within that time, we should start to get our steam there. All right, but with using anything like this, always err on the side of safety, you know, especially if this is one of your first times doing it. Take it nice and slow. You don't want to ruin anything, break anything, and just hanging out anyhow. We'll be back when we start steaming. When we blow our top. Okay, so the process, once we sealed this, we brought it up 20 minutes on medium heat, nice and slow. Then after 20 minutes, we cranked it up to a medium-high heat for 15 minutes. After that 15 minutes, right at about it, we got a nice, consistent stream of steam. Once we got the steam, we then set a 10-minute timer. Let the whole thing vent on out. After it vents for 10 minutes, on this dial gauge pressure canner, you put your counterweight on it. I'm just going to dial it down here. I got too much pressure in her. And what I want to do with it is have it at 11. Crank it to 11, baby. Oh yeah. So I'm a little high right now. I'm just dialing down the temperature. And that takes a little finagling, a little finesse back and forth. But once I lock it in at that 11, I'm going to set my 90-minute cook timer. And I want to maintain that 11 PSI the entire time. If I fall below that, I need to bring it back up and then start the 90 minutes all over, okay? So I'm gonna dial this guy in here and get it ready to cook for 90 minutes. 90 minutes, I've got the quarts in there. All right, we are back. We cooked at between 11 and 13 PSI, trying to keep it closer to that 11.9, 12-ish PSI for 90 minutes constant. We did not let it drop below 11. We can't let it drop below 11. Got to crank it to 11 and keep it there. But 11 to 12, that's your sweet spot. A little warmer is better than colder, or more pressure is better than a little less pressure, as long as you're under that 13, okay? After we let it cook for the 90 minutes, we let it sit for 30 minutes, completely undisturbed, unmolested, didn't touch it, didn't look at it, didn't acknowledge it, basically. Leave it alone like a 5-year-old in the corner, okay? After that, I have let it go a little longer, so we have vented completely. You can carefully take your counterweight off. This is a good time to, I don't have any steam, so it's not on the top of my head, but good time to use your waterproof oven mitt. And you'd grab it, kind of using your mitt to shield yourself, and pull it back. Let's see, pulling it back, back toward you. So if anything else does kind of pop out, you're shielded by the glove. Okay. Then we just open it up. Boom. Pull these out. All right. After letting the whole pot decompress for 30 minutes, we then opened it, let it vent. We then let the jars cool for another 2 to 3 hours before touching them. After that, we pulled them out and checked the lids. What I mean by that is all good. Every one of them, well, we'll really know when we pulled the rings off, but every one of them, they suck that lid down in to give it a concavity. Yeah, concavity is the word everyone is looking for. They're all saying concaveness. It's concavity, people. Here we go. Okay, and then you're also seeing all this white chalky. What the heck is that? Well, I live in Northeast Florida, and let me tell you what. Our water is filled with everything, all kind of junky metal stuff, or just minerals, not metals. Metals too, but tons of minerals. That's just from hard water. And the way you get rid of that is by adding the Dikine, the white vinegar, the distilled white vinegar. I did add a little, okay? I added the 2 tablespoons, like is recommended. Now what I'll do, because I see that my water is harder than I even thought, I'll go ahead and add an extra tablespoon next time to see if that is able to cull that particular event. But really not a big deal. It's just a mess I have to clean. It's not affecting the chicken. The chicken's sealed nicely inside. That's just showing the minerals. Shows you what kind of water you really have, which is why I multiple Pro 1 water filters to filter out 225 plus contaminants. So we handled that. Also, I want to give you an idea of seriously be patient and let these things wait. I've actually been waiting for 8 hours. I've been letting these cool. They are still warm to the touch, and you can still see here we've got boiling water. So they get hot. So be patient. Make sure you use your tools, your waterproof silicone oven mitt. Okay, that's not in a lot of canning cases. That's a good one to add. for things just to have around. It's good. But you want to use your tools. Use your tools. Don't melt yourself. Don't burn yourself. And make sure don't set these warm jars down on a cold granite or marble countertop. They'll go and you'll have hot chicken all over your toes. You don't want it. Okay? So make sure you throw down, you know, a towel. That way that helps prevent that cold granite or whatever surface from causing that temperature shock and causing a breakage. Now that we unscrewed the okay, now that we got the rings off, we can go ahead and get all these wiped down, cleaned off, and they're ready to throw in the cabinet. And that's it. 16 pounds of chicken between 8-quart jars. Just that easy, folks. It's just that easy. Don't wait. Don't be intimidated by all these crazy things. And it's not that complicated. Go out. Just go get this book. I'm not paid by him or endorsed by him, but just go get this book. It's easy. It makes it pretty stupid. ABC 1, 2, 3. If you can read, you can. That's it. And basically, that's the way I feel just about anything. You know, if you can read, you can do it. Or, as long as it's not dangerous, go out there, try it. Guess what the scientific method is? Failure. It's based upon failure. The entire scientific method is try something, record it. If and when it fails, record that, try something different. When it fails, try something different. It's literally the scientific method is based off of failure. So don't be scared. Also, I didn't want to get into a lot of the things about the pots. I'll do other videos about that. Pressure cookers are different. Okay, so mine, I'm supposed to put 2 to 3 inches of cool water in. And yeah, other pots are different. So do not go off my pot. Also, I mentioned lubing the rim of the pot with olive oil. That's not necessary in all models. You know, if your model does not say to do that, don't do that. Just follow the directions on your particular pressure washer. I do too many things. On your particular pressure cooker, okay? Just follow directions on it and follow the safety precautions. It's one of those things, just go ahead and read that whole big, I think the book on mine is literally like one little page, you know, like this. It's like the size of my hand. Just go ahead and get that and read it. Just read it through and it'll just info in, downloaded, bada bing. You got all the safety tips, nothing to worry about. It's not a big deal. It wasn't scary. It was cool, guys. Pretty easy. Pretty stoked on it. I'm going to be doing a lot more of these coming at you. All right, here we are. It's been 12 hours of cool down and they're actually still warm to the touch. Okay, after you get about 12 hours of cool down and they're not hot, you're doing this for a couple reasons. One, you don't want to burn yourself. Two, any major change in your pressure can cause some breakage, you know, so that's why you want to always be looking at your temperature, watching your temperature. If you put hot water in a cold jar, boom, that major temperature change can cause a reaction and go bang or just break. So be careful of that. Let them cool down. Don't go running them under cold water when you pull them out of the pot. That's a guaranteed way they're going to break. Okay? Just take a washcloth, something like that, with some warm water on it. Give them a good wipe down, and then wipe them down again with a second dry one so they're nice and clean. And then go ahead and label. Most of the kits come with some nice labelers. I went ahead and just wrote them on here because the lids themselves are one-time use. After you break this seal, you won't want to use it for any food grade stuff. Okay, so I wrote it on there. And that's that, folks. That's it. We just canned 16 pounds of chicken. So a pound fits per pint, 2 pounds per quart. My 22-quart pressure cooker, pressure canner held 8 quarts. And therefore we got 16 pounds of chicken, just like that, guys. Look how easy that is. And it doesn't take up much room. It's a whole lot less than what it took up in the freezer. So that's it. I told you, simple, easy. Get out there and do it. Don't worry about getting fancy, expensive stuff. Start with the lowest, cheapest stuff. You'll learn the most that way. You'll get actually proficient at this and good. Go out and get the book. This is super easy, guys. And it was actually pretty fun. The girlfriend and I had a lot of fun doing this. So, don't do that. They're good and sealed. That was a good seal test. No breakage. Everything's still sealed. That's the other thing. See how there's no flex? No flex. There's not even a sound, really. It's kind of dead. Those are all proper. So on my first go, we did 100%. Yay. Cool, guys. Get out there. Can this stuff. Buy all the chicken you can right now. When you find it on sale, boom, can it. I'm coming with green beans next. I'm just waiting on some pickling salt to come in. Is that what I need? I don't know. I need something else. I'll be right back. Sandy C is going to see you in a few on another video.